Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another quick game, well, not such a quick game today, but another game of interplanetary I Spy going on here. Now, I'm going back over some of the old images of Gale Crater at the bottom of Mount Sharp. This is one of them. You can see the base of Mount Sharp here in the background. And in the sort of middle ground here, we have some interesting structures that look very much like ships or shipwrecks or half-buried structures of some sort that resemble ships. Okay, now, I've already done a video on this particular thing, but it was done over, I think, about 2 years ago. Here's the video. It's called Mars Navy Minesweeper Mount Sharp Alien Ship. Not had a hell of a lot of views, about 4,500 almost. August 2014, and this is part one of a whole series of videos I did about ships and boats wrecked in this area along the bottom of Mount Sharp. And here you can see it in the video. I'll play a little bit of that. Let's flip forward a bit, and there are some enhancements, but this was not zoomed in as far, even though this was taken from a TIFF image. Let's go back a little bit actually. Let's watch it zoom in. This is a TIFF image it's taken from, so that the quality is pretty good, but it's effectively further away, so you can't see as much detail. It was quite hard to enhance this one, but it was clear enough just about to see, and you can see a superstructure on here. I don't think that there's this brown sort of chimney-like structure. I think that's behind it now. I don't think that's on it at all. But I sort of used a slightly different technique here, where I used the sharpening tool to drag out some of these details, and there seems to be ladders and structures all over this thing. Now, whether those are actually there, I think some of them are. Some of these details are showing up in other images as well, so you can check that out if you want. It's not a hugely long video, it's about 20 minutes long, that one. So that was from 2014, but I've been going through all the sort of gigapans again recently, and I found it again in 595, which is actually this is from the NASA website, the Curiosity Rover mass cam image, and this is Sol 595. Okay, and you can see the boat here in the image, quite large, partially buried, covered in dust and crap. Quite a long way off from the rover, but the camera is actually zoomed in a bit closer this time, so you can see more of it and more detail. It's also in 582. Now, this is the gigapan. Credit to Neville Thompson for this, for compiling this set of images here into a large gigapan, and you can see it here. You can see the front end. Here's the superstructure here, and it goes down here, and there's also a flat barge-like structure in front of it, which may be a building, buried building, or side of a dock, or possibly another ship or boat. But it's very flat, and you'll see that in closer detail in a second. So we have it in a number of images. Here's the raw image from the JPL site here of that particular view. It was taken back in 2014, a couple of years back, and there it is. You can see it here. A boat structure here and another structure in front of it. So I'm not going to show you all my enhancements straight away, because I haven't done a lot of them yet. I've just done some very basic enhancements to start with, and what I'll do is I'll do a bit more work on the image and try and restore some detail into the image, which I will then put in at the end of the video, like I normally do. All these shots will be in at the end of the video, and in HD, full HD, where you can see them hopefully in better detail. Right, so let's crack on. For ease of use, I've basically gone in and just got the raw image. The first one I did was 595. Here's the raw image. I'll zoom in. And the boat or ship is here. Back end here, top of it's here, and it sticks up here and it comes down. And here's the front of the boat here, it looks like. But the image quality isn't brilliant. It's not bad because it's quite close, but there's a lot of distortion in the image here. Some of this is most of it's down to the way the picture has been resized and compressed. But also there's probably this to do with the filtering they use as well. Infrared filters, orange filters, a lot of them unnecessary. So I enhanced it anyway. I enlarged it and colour corrected it and added some contrast, which is what I've done here. And you can quite clearly see that there is something here sticking up just here, and it's got some interesting details on top of the bow at the front here. It looks to be some kind of structure here which is slightly crumpled and damaged, and you have the superstructure sticking up here and coming down here. But this is more obscured. In this view, in Sol 595, you've got this kind of large pile of rocks here covering some of it, and this ridgeline. So it's actually better to view it in, where is it, 582. Now the 582 view is this one. Now this is from a different angle further up and to the right. So we're actually looking down on it from a slightly higher elevation, from a ridgeline about a mile or two back. And the camera's actually zoomed in. I'll go full screen with this and zoom out and show you what I mean. You can actually see this is a better quality angle because basically we've got a more clear view of the whole thing, and we don't have anything obscuring it, and you can actually see something in front of it here. If I zoom right in, this long straight structure here looks like a barge or some kind of structure, don't really know. But the ship itself, you can actually see in better detail here. You can see a square window type thing here. And I still appreciate this is hard to see because this is raw. But when you see the colour corrected version of this, which I think is it above it or below it? Here we are. This is the same image that Level T is already enhanced and colour corrected. And this is probably more like the actual colours of this area, because we know from the high-rise images taken by the MRO, Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, that this lake bed is very blue and sort of dark grey blue colour, okay? So this is probably a lot closer to what it actually looks like in reality, because this has had the orange filter removed, okay? And here you can see it even better, and you can tell that there's something very bright and reflective here, with high luminosity, which means it's possibly metallic. And when you compare it to the other rock and sand and everything, all the other structures around it, it's much brighter and also much flatter and straighter, especially this object in the front here. Very straight and very reflective. And it actually sticks up like a superstructure here, and you can see the superstructure here sticking up, okay? So links to all these will be below, so if you want to check out these different views of it, you can just click on those and have a look yourself. You don't even have to enhance the image because this has already been colour corrected to a point, and it's fairly clear as it is. And also you'll see the Mars, one view of the Mars giant Sphinx that I found recently, which was in all the press, which is way over to the left of here. And there's another structure over to the side here. I don't know if I can find it offhand, because here's the Sphinx. Here's the Sphinx that I published before. And there are many views of this, as there are with the ship that I'm about to show you. There's about 10 different views of this from different angles. This one is from sort of behind almost. And this Sphinx is actually facing Mount Sharp, up at the pyramids and buildings and city structures that I showed also in a previous video. So now I'm not going to do loads of enhancements live here. I'm just going to show you what I've got, and I will put more enhancements in at the end. Now I've just taken some straight clips of straight from the Gigapan, and here's a basic enhancement, and all I've done here is add some more contrast to the image to try and bring out this shape, and you can see it fairly clearly. But what I will do is I'll draw around this and I'll highlight it in a different colour so it stands out from the background, so that people out there on mobile phones and devices can see it. Okay, so there was that, and you can see without doing anything to this, without actually touching up the image at all, you can see there's something going on in here, like a window or a set of windows, like a cockpit or something, or a bridge, something like that perhaps, and there's a square structure on top. But this, like many of the things in Gale Crater, may have been there for millions of years. I don't think it's been there that long. I think it's probably only been there 75 years or something like that. But that's my personal view. Can't possibly tell for sure. But if there was a nuclear war on Mars that destroyed everything, or at least everything in this part of Mars, then it could be fairly recent. And the explosion on Mars, seen by Clyde Tombaugh, the famous astronomer, was seen in 1941 from Earth. So I'm still going with that theory on this because it's the only theory we've got at the moment, because no one else has witnessed any. So, but he was a very reliable witness and had a powerful telescope at the time, and just happened to be looking at Mars like he always did, when there was a massive green explosion on the surface, which may have been what destroyed the past civilization on Mars. Okay, so I'm just going to show you another thing that was near here, which is this. This is a straight clip from the Gupan. Now, this just kind of looks like a bit of eroded rock or something, but actually when you zoom into it, there's a dome here, and what looks like a cockpit on top of it here. So this may be another ship with a dome coming down here, and almost like a flying saucer shaped kind of ship, but it could be it may be an actual ship that's listed over onto one side, and is heavily buried, and we're just seeing the top that's exposed. But it could be anything. It could be an aircraft, it could be submarine, it could be almost anything, we don't know. But it looks like an intelligent structure, even without doing anything to it. You can see this structure on top here. I actually think this is another ship, and it comes right down to about here, and may even go right out to the edge of here. I'm not sure. It's very hard to tell because a lot of this stuff's buried, but if you really crank up the contrast with these things, you can start to see through a lot of the sand, because the digital cameras see into near infrared, which actually will see bright reflective structures through the sand. Okay, which is what we're seeing here. Okay, so that's about it for now. I will come back to you in a bit with the enhanced images of this, and I'll really try and pull out some detail. As it's closer, we should be able to see a bit more cockpit detail, but you can see the other basic enhancement I did here from this view, even though it's partially obscured, that there's something here, and you can see the front end, you can see something here, and you can see the superstructure coming up here and then back down at the back here. Okay, so it's definitely there because it shows in many sols on different years and different days, different months, different times of year, different angles. So it's definitely there, and this actually may be one of the ships that you can see in the high-rise images from above. Okay, so this may be the one. I haven't worked out the size of this yet, but it's very large. It's probably at least 200 feet long, could be 300, don't know. It may be only 80 or 100. There's no point of reference, so it's very hard to say, but I'll show you the Gigapan. It's very hard to work out with these things because there is no point of reference, and the problem is that the mass cam on the Curiosity Rover has a very powerful zoom on it, which means it can zoom in from miles back right into this detail here. So from this perspective, it only looks like it's about half a mile away, but in fact the rover is probably over 2 miles away from this, or at least a mile, I'd say. And here it is. Okay. It looks very artificial. You have a very straight, flat structure in front, which looks kind of like a barge or something, and a large ship that sort of resembles a minesweeper or a destroyer, a small destroyer or something, like this. I'll show you the enhancements in here. It actually will show you the whole thing in a second. I'll let that play through. But it's definitely there because I've spotted it on many occasions in many images, but this particular angle we're looking at now is better than this one here, because it's closer, but you can see that this is all joined up, and this is actually a superstructure sticking up. It may even be a building that's heavily damaged and collapsed, and we're only seeing part of it. But the fact that it's the bottom of a lake or a dried out lake bed says to me, here's the better angle, it says to me that this is a ship, because you're not going to sail around in a lake in a building. You're going to sail around a lake in a ship or boat. So yes, I do appreciate that this is hard to see and a bit murky, as a lot of these images are. Unfortunately, they do downsize the images before we get them public, but occasionally we do get a gigapan of the area done by NASA, which is high quality, and I'm pretty sure that we'll probably get some more views of this, maybe from the other angle, from the much further over to the right. So we'll see it from the back, much like we did with the Sphinx. You can see that more from the front on the later sols as the rover move round. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll just sort out these enhancements for you now, and you'll be able to see them coming up any minute now. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.